members from the LGBTQ community who are speaking to Anisha as well say that they are looking at the brighter side to this. There are a few takeaways when it comes to securing their rights. Hasn't it already been done before?
Well, yes. See, Nabila, this was an opportunity for the Supreme Court to go that one step further, to give the fundamental right to a same-sex couple, not just to cohabit and be in a relationship, which correctly, like you pointed out, is something that's already recognized in the previous judgments, but go one step further and legally recognize as to whether or not they can get married. But at the same time, what the Supreme Court has said is that this is not in their domain. Remember, this was the argument of the centre from the very beginning. From day one of this issue being before the Supreme Court, the centre had said that the court should not interfere in this. This exclusively lies in the domain of the Parliament, and it is only the Parliament's job to make laws, not the Supreme Court's job. And at the end of it, it seems that all 5 judges of the Supreme Court have agreed with that despite the fact that they heard the arguments at length, it is not within their domain to go ahead and make such a judicial pronouncement, which is why they've left it up to the centre to form this committee. Now, the centre, during the course of the arguments, Nabila, had suggested to the Supreme Court that they can form an administrative committee that will be headed by a union cabinet secretary, I beg your pardon, that can look into aspects of social and welfare rights that can be given to the queer community and the LGBTQ community, but also still fall short of the right to marry. So this committee will not be looking at as to whether or not the queer couples should be allowed to marry, but they will be looking at all ancillary rights that follow with that. And the Supreme Court, all 5 judges have categorically said that this committee should be formed, the government should look into these aspects and decide as to whether or not at a further stage they can give the right to marry to the queer community.
Right. Anisha brings us a lot more voices there. Anisha, you say that they're looking at the brighter side to it, but yet it's been handed over, this responsibility back to the Parliament almost means that this will now become an election talking point going forward.
Well, actually, if you see that this is exactly what the observation that Justice Bhatt has also given, that we don't know whether this will come from a proactive government acting on its own or it will require a lot of social pressure to come. But very clearly, if you can, we can see here some members of the queer community, they're quite upset. They're not willing to speak even to the media. They're discussing what is happening here. Some are saying that we're looking at it from the positive aspects, that 5 years ago there was nothing. Now at least there is recognition of a relationship. There is recognition that we have the right to cohabit, even if that right does not give us any further extended rights. Now, what is also crucial to see here is the fact that the Supreme Court, in a unanimous verdict, has asked the centre to set up this committee. Of course, this was exactly what the centre had called for. They had said that the Supreme Court cannot pass such directions. This is a matter that has to be considered by the Parliament. This has to be something that is considered by a popular discussion. It has to be a public discussion, and that is exactly what is now likely to happen once this committee is set up, when this issue is considered by this high-powered committee. But what is also crucial to note is the observations that have come from the court, particularly with regard to non-discrimination, with regard to police protection, with regard to the state's responsibility to ensure that people are not put under any sort of threat, put under any sort of violence, that with the where all the judges, even the ones who have said that we do not believe that the Supreme Court can pass an order directing the government to create a law, even they have said that there is still the obligation to protect. So that is something that has come out and that is being taken as a positive as far as this particular verdict is concerned. But we are going to try and get you some more voices here from the activists who are here today, and so about what are they saying, how exactly they see this entire situation. Sir, how do you see?
I've got a one live with NDTV.
I know, but can we just get a quick comment from you on the verdict today?
Well, on the verdict, I am happy for many things that have been said, but I'm a little disappointed that there are no timelines as such that we can read so far, unless we've missed something, on by when a committee will be set up and by when will the committee deliver on the various laws that need to be amended under banking, insurance, whatever it might be, on healthcare, etc. That gives us the rights that judges who've spoken favorably in terms of our dignity and fundamental rights are implemented, and that talk in the court turns into action. I think to me, that's the biggest thing we need to focus on to give us some sense of expectation of how our lives are going to evolve as queer people, as queer couples.
What do you see as a key point? I mean, first of all, of course, you said that there is no timeline, of course, by which the committee will be created or the committee will give its report or anything will happen. But apart from that, the observations of the court, particularly with regard to non-discrimination, with regard to non-prosecution, the responsibilities of the state, the responsibilities of police, how do you see those?
Well, I think these are all very good points to make. But my concern, again, I said they're very good points. Even on adoption, there's been about dignity, there is about privacy. So many things have been said through this reading since the morning. But my concern here is how will that be implemented or executed, insofar as actual real life, So that... Yeah.
Actual real life is the concern that you're raising. In addition, I also wanted to ask the question of adoption. Sorry, just one quick question. The question of adoption rights and the change. They've said that the Kara rules are incorrect. They need to be changed. More importantly, they've also said that transgender heterosexual couples do have the right to marry.
Transgender heterosexual couples, there's already an order 2016. It was in Chennai. So that has already existed. It's just that perhaps people were not aware of it, and they've just sort of ratified that maybe. But the point is, when you are recognizing adoption, what stops you from recognizing parents? Who's adopting them, right? Then you're also accepting parenting outside the structure of what is considered marriage or family, right? Then you should recognize everything else with it also. I just feel that's my...
Thank you very much, Sharma, for speaking to us. So you just heard from activist who was talking about the fact that there are no timelines that the court has given, and that is a big concern for the LGBT community here, that what will actually happen, what happens next, when is it that they will get any rights, when is it that any committee, etc. would be created.
India's #1 political reporter.
Defines what seems to be happening, vendetta politics. कोई दूध के से धुला हुआ नहीं है.
Unmatched eye, unmatched experience.
The world has changed. My black hair has become grey as well.
And with unmatched passion for the story.
Do not monopolize the conversation.
When it's 100% news that matters. It's News Today with Rajdeep Sardesai. Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. Only on India Today TV.